So it's about 1 minute before we get started. So most people like the behind the scenes and all that good stuff right before they go live or do whatever. So I think I'll just hit the record button while I'm still preparing. And just since this is live, my backlight doesn't work, which is which is okay, right? So since the backlight doesn't work, I'll use this light, which is kind of like a better background, light, and all that good stuff, right? So this is all the stuff that you guys don't see when getting prepared. But it is 6 o'clock now, and hopefully it is going live. The show's live on this screen. So welcome, 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 everyone. So welcome to today's live stream, and it's called Streamline to Succeed, Master, Focus, Fast. Okay. So I named this Master, Focus, Fast because behind the scenes, one of the things, and I do a lot, whether it's my job, my business, um, being a husband, a father, um, friends, and things of that nature. I've adopted the go, 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 gotta hustle, gotta grind 24/7 lifestyle. I've been working that lifestyle even way before getting married. But it got to a point where in my life, I was grinding, 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 and um, I hit a plateau, right? Especially in my career and in my business, right? And what I had to do is unlearn what has kept me afloat for so long, right? Usually the hustle, 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 and go, go, go. It really helped me out when I was in college, right? Because I wanted to graduate, I wanted to be successful, I wanted to outwork everyone. So I knew for a fact that one of my advantages is to outwork everyone. However, as I get older, and being older, you definitely have to pick up uh, some wisdom while you're going through life. And even though this is on LinkedIn and YouTube and it's geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, I really thought about it. This is for people that are really trying to work smarter, right? And one of the best ways for you to work smarter is focus. And I'm not talking about people who can't focus with was it ADHD and other what's the word? I won't even say it's a symptom, but other things that keeps them distracted. However, for me and everything that I had going on, I had to understand, let me work smarter as opposed to working harder. I'll give you a prime example. My daughter's getting older, and I know for a fact that family is the most important thing, regardless of whatever other professional endeavor is on my plate. I can be super successful to the outside world, but if I fail my family, it's not worth anything. So, one of the things that I had to do was take a step back and one, focus on what's important. And that's the first rule, whether you are in school, whether you are an entrepreneur, or just someone going through life. You got to have priorities, right? And you have to not only have priorities, you need to focus on those priorities. What There are a lot of distractions in this world, right? Some are people, some is social media, some are text messages, some people just always trying to be in the know and things of that nature. Because we all know there's a difference between being busy and being productive. Being busy is, it sounds sexy and it sounds you great, but being productive is the real thing. How are you moving the needle in your life, right? And one of the things to do that is to have priorities and focus on those priorities. And for someone like me who understood my priorities, but I thought my end all be all in life is just to be busy and be moving and shaking all the time. And I fell into that mode as hard as possible, like maybe for the past year, year and a half, and I really wasn't moving the needle when it came to things. In actuality, one of the main things that um, had me really stop and recollect everything that is going on in my life, especially for those that know me, is when both my parents died, right? And to those that don't know, my parents died 39 days between each other, right? My mom passed away on December 29th, 2023, and then my dad turned around and passed away on February 6th, 2024, right? Those were two traumatic experiences in my life. And I think it, for one of the reasons why it happened, God needed for me to really sit down and really focus on uh, not only their dealings and, pick up their responsibilities that they had, but even more importantly, focus on what's important, right? Um, a lot of the stuff that you are doing is not important. It's something for you to do, but it's not really moving the needle in your life, whether it's from a business perspective, from a personal perspective. You can challenge me on that and you can say, oh, I have a full pack day and everything is moving the needle. There is probably, out of the 10 things that you do every day, you can delegate 10 of those and really focus on the main three. But the thing is, what are the main three? And the main three looks different for everyone. It should look different for everyone, regardless if you're single, you're married, you have kids, or whatever have you. But you have to, in order to focus and drill down, you have to have priorities and you really have to focus on those priorities. Not saying that you may have some wiggle room, but your priorities are the main things that are in your life, right? And I'm not saying the main things for social media, the main things that are near and dear to you, right? In actuality, if you're looking at this live stream right now, just to kind of take the temperature of the audience out there, or if you're looking at the replay, put replay in the chat. What are the top three things that are important to you? As an example, for me, the top three things that are important to me is God and gaining a deeper relationship with Him, right? Uh, my family, aka my wife and my child, and I'm still trying to figure out what the third thing is, right? Because I'm so focused on, you know, still getting focused with God, but when it comes to my family, that's all that I talk about, which is a good thing. But at the same time, there's things outside of my life that I need to focus on, that I need to start doing, which ultimately would benefit my wife and my child. And it can be health, it can be hobbies. I don't know yet. That's something that I'm still trying to figure out and learn what to do to gain that overall focus. And one of the ways that you could regain that focus, and this is something that may not work for everyone, is start to isolate yourself. And for me, just a short story. I've been on a journey of isolation for about 6 years or so. Things started to happen for me uh, in 2019. So right before the world was forced to isolate, I started to experience high levels of isolation. And for me, I really didn't understand what the true meaning of that isolation looks like. I really didn't start to understand that until I got more into the word and God and his overall strategy when it comes to isolation, right? So for those that don't know, and I'm still a student of this, right? Even 6 years in, I'm still a student of this. Usually, and if somebody has a comment on what I say or add to it, feel free to put it in the chat. But isolation is a period of time where God is preparing you for something else, whether it's on the personal side of your life or the professional side, but preparing you for something. So it gets you to the point where you prepare mentally, in some instances, physically, but mostly mentally and spiritually for something. And it could be the thing that hopefully the group on here is praying individuals, but if you're not, there's no judgment here, right? That's your own journey. But the isolation could happen to prepare you for that one thing that you do want in your life, that one significant thing, that one thing that you want to focus on, but it's not happening fast enough, right? Because for me, and I still battle with this, I have to, and I'm still working on my overall patience. I like to get things done fast. Obviously, when you're working with people, that's not always the case. And like the lessons I learned yesterday, even though you want to snap out and yell, you know, there's a level of patience that needs to happen, right? But um, knowing that would be the best thing that you could endure, especially when it comes to isolation. And isolation doesn't necessarily mean that you cut off everyone in your life. It could mean, even just from the smallest thing, it could mean that you put yourself first and you take time out to make sure you're first, right? It's like this cup, right? This cup, you want to make sure that your cup is full before you go and fill other people's cup up. For me, I was an overextender, right? I always wanted to make sure that everyone was good. I overextended myself, from a personal perspective and from business and my job, right? You got to make sure that you're good, because there were situations from a professional standpoint, I overextended myself and they still made the decision to let me go, meaning they laid me off based off of whatever external factors it was, right? So knowing that, for me, that lesson is I'm going to give you everything that, well, I'm not going to say give you everything that I got. I'm going to give you a lot because I want to make sure that from a personal, professional perspective, um, I, I'm the type of person that will help out, but no more will I overextend myself or say yes to something that I know that I don't want to do. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make me a bad individual. Um, it makes me a little selfish when it comes to the things that I want to do, which is okay because if there are 10 cups in a room, right, and I'm pouring something in everyone's cup and I'm empty, whose fault is that? That's mine, right? And I know that I need to have something in the tank, not only for myself, but for my wife, for my child, for my business, first and foremost for the Lord, right? So knowing that you have priorities and you start to isolate, even if it's a little bit of isolation, you can take a couple of hours a week where you just keep that to yourself and you protect that to yourself. Or if you um, go to the gym every single day and you block that time out, and that time is for you and only you, that can be a small form of isolation where you are pouring into yourself. What that looks like from a professional standpoint, if you want a new job or you want to gain another skill, do not wait for your job or do not wait for someone else to actually invest in you to get those skill sets. You invest in yourself, which is so cliche, but it's so true because you have so many talented individuals that are scared to take the leap to invest in themselves to better themselves. I don't know if it's a mental thing or whatever have you, but you gotta pour into yourself to make sure that you are okay. Because how are you going to pour into others if your cup is empty? It doesn't make any sense. And isolating yourself in some way, shape, or form, just for even for you to figure it out, is key, which will help you develop a level of focus very, very fast. In full transparency, this is something that I'm still doing right now in my life, even at 46 years old. But we have people that are 10 times older than I am that are still doing the things that they need to do to develop that level of focus, right? The second thing, when you want to master focus very fast, is cut out unnecessary distractions. Okay. And cutting out unnecessary distractions for me is, for example, what I used to do is get on this phone and just scroll, right? Scroll and worry about other people's lives as opposed to focusing on my own, which really didn't make any sense. But once again, me being the type of person who loves to give and loves to help, I'm paying more attention to other people in their lives as opposed to myself. When that clicked for me, that was very embarrassing. I'm going to be very transparent with you. It was very, because it got to a point where I was thinking, is my life less important than the people that I scroll and look at day in and day out that really not even thinking about me because they got their own stuff to worry about because they have their own priorities in focusing on the things that's important to them. Once again, the first a pillar that I talked about, right? So eliminate those unnecessary distractions. Um, and this is probably one of the hardest things, especially distractions is a form of behavior, right? It's a habit. If you are doing something like social media, which is probably the biggest distraction that there is, if you are just a scroller as opposed to you're the one focusing on creating the content, that's another story within itself, right? Like for this video, as an example, right? Instead of me just scrolling and looking at what other people are doing, put forth the effort to get on here and talk to you about something that I'm currently experiencing, not for myself and not for my own visibility, but to help you guys who are on the other side looking at this video. Because I'm pretty sure there are tons of people that are either looking at this right now, or hopefully they'll look at this in the future and they feel like their lives don't have the focus that they really want because you you focus on what you feed yourself every single day, right? I don't know for individuals on here who know one of the great personal professional development experts. His name is Jim Rohn, right? If you don't know who this man is, go to YouTube, look him up. You'll thank me later. Trust me. But one of the key things that Jim Rohn said when I first started to dig into him, he said, stand guard at the door of your mind, right? And initially, when I heard that, I was just thinking, whoa, that's super deep, really not thinking about what he's meaning, right? But stand guard at the door of your mind because what you pour into your mind will be the stuff that will either distract you or help you focus on what you're trying to do. And focus is not a light switch moment, right? And even though some people say, oh, if you do this for 30 days, you'll create a habit, everyone is different, right? So for anyone who's looking at this video, because I had to tell myself this also, if you are 30 days in and you are still getting sidetracked based off of something, just continue. 30, 60 days, that sounds sweet because it's so tangible and it's so quick. But you have some people that take a half a year of consistency just to get their mind back to the focus that they would want, right? It's very real, and a lot of people won't tell you that. They'll give you the numbers to make it seem like it's easy. It's not easy. It's attainable, but it's really not easy to regain your area of focus. But I will guarantee you that you will not regain the focus that you want if you do not start to cut out your distractions. And let me also say this also. Cutting out the worst thing that you can do to cut out your distractions is to go cold turkey. If you really want to set yourself up for failure and try to just say instantly, I'm going to cut this off cold turkey, the mind doesn't work that way for most. For some people, excuse me, it does work, but for the masses, you have to gradually peel back the layers to get to the goal that you want. Let me give you an example. So for me, one, I knew for a fact one of my competitive advantages is getting up early. For me now, my body is wired to get up at 4:30 in the morning, 7 days a week, regardless of what time I go to bed. But when I initially first wanted to start to go to bed for up to 4:30, I crashed and burned. Reason being was I would go to bed at 10 o'clock and try to set my alarm to get up at 4:30. You know what time when I got up when I did do that? 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, because I didn't gradually pull the layers back. As opposed to saying, if I want to get up, if my goal is to get up consistently at 4:30, let me start getting up at 5:30 first. Let me see how I feel, get adjusted to that. Let me focus on 5:30. Then peel back the time to 5 o'clock, right? Because if I'm in a good groove and starting to get up at 5:30, my body and my mind is starting to get adjusted to that. So instead of saying let me go from 5:30 to 4:30, let me go from 5:30 to 5, right? There's only a half an hour. So let me 5:30, 5:30, 5:30, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So I'm once again gradually, slowly but surely pulling back those layers. And then after I got adjusted with 5 o'clock, I went to 4:45, right? Because once again, I did not want to lose my focus and lose the momentum of still getting up on the targeted time. I didn't hit the 4:30 yet, but peel back to 4:45. 4:45, 4:45, 4:45. So now let me move back to 4:30, right? It was a consistent and gradual thing as opposed to what most people on social media say, oh, if you want to do X, Y, and Z, start doing it right then and there. You're setting yourself up for failure, especially with the person on the other end of this camera. You know how you are, right? And if you have that goal and you know for a fact that you can't go from night to day and switch from that perspective, gradually peel back the layers, because as you gradually peel back those layers, you will also pull back the distractions that will prevent you from accomplishing that goal. The goal is to accomplish the goal, right? And in some instances, you have to gradually focus and remove those distractions to help you get there. Regardless if it's 30 days, 60 days, a year and a half, your goal is your goal. As long as you stay consistent with it, that's the biggest piece, right? And then last but not least, um, this is something that, to be transparent with, I'm still failing at this, but I'm still working at it, right? So the last piece for me, and this kind of ties into what I said at the very beginning, in order for you to really focus on something and focus on something extremely or as fast as possible, you got to be selfish, not delusional, right? But you have to be selfish, meaning you have to put yourself in front of that goal and consistently figure out what you need to do to keep hitting that goal, right? That may be something where you have to stop doing so much for other people, start doing more for yourself. Because on a side note, once you get to the point where you start to do more for yourself, you the people that okay, once you start to do something for yourself, the people that are could be the distractions for preventing you from that will start to fade themselves out, and the people that will be the assets to help you hit it will start to fade in. I don't know if it's I know it's a combination of God saying, okay, now that I know you want to focus on now, there we go. You want to focus on something. Your brain is going to get to the point, and your energy and your vibes is going to go from you trying to bring people in and try to get them in to the people that you attract to help you with your overall goal. I'm really starting to see that now, but I'm still failing because I'm battling with the old person that I was, being generous and willing to give all my time, effort, and energy to saying no, I'm not going to do something because I'm focusing on this, right? Lost a lot of people in my life just based off of that, and it is what it is. No harm, no foul. Maybe that's just the lifeline of the relationship. Who knows? But at the same time, I will never get upset with um, focusing on myself and what I need to do, because me focusing on myself makes me happy, even though I'm married and have a child. Because me focusing on myself and pouring into myself gives me the energy so I can continue to serve my family at the highest level. I don't know if anybody gets that piece, right? I hope if you have experienced that, please put that in the comments. But the more you start to pour into yourself and the more you make yourself happy, the more you can help and serve the people that are most important to you. There still is a balance, right? I never get to the point where um, I completely cut off my wife and my child, right? I'm not going to do that, but I need to be a little bit more focused and more selfish when I do have the time to work on the stuff that I need to work on, aka me getting up at 4:30 in the morning. Me getting up at 4:30 in the morning, the only two people that are in this house that are up at 4:30 in the morning is me and the cat, and the cat can fend for herself. But once again, knowing that I have that time, right, to focus on what I need to focus for, it makes me happy because it helps me move the needle in regard to what I'm doing, as opposed to being very honest with you, complaining why other people are passing me up or they used to pass me up when it comes to certain things in my life. That was the problem. That was the problem because I didn't focus on what was important in my life, right? So I say all those three things. Hopefully, it helps you out when it comes to how you can master your focus faster. You will never be able to accomplish the thing or the things that you ultimately want in life if you don't focus, right? You have to lock down, lock in, and focus on what you want. And you can do that as a spouse, as a mom, as a friend. You can still do all of that, but you got to pour into yourself. You got to really figure out what are some things that you can do to help you focus a lot better. And once again, clear out all the distractions, clear out all the unnecessary distractions. Once again, for me, I need to keep my butt off of social media or limit the time. That's you know what? I didn't even think about it. And I need you guys, if you're looking at this, to continue to ask and hold me accountable. Moving forward, I'm just going to be on social. I'm putting this out there on live and it's being recorded. So I want you guys to hold me accountable. I'm going to give myself 15 minutes a day to be on social media. So for 15 minutes, I'm just going to scroll or do whatever I need to do. And then that's it. I'm done for the day. Because once again, I'm going to lose focus every time that I'm consistently focusing on someone else's life, someone else's priorities, as opposed to mine. Because I don't want to continue to live a life of regret. And the crazy thing about it is the regret doesn't come from anybody else except myself, because in the past I did not purely focus on the things that are important to me. I hope that really makes sense. And hopefully you can take my transparency and really learn from it. I'm still a work in progress. Like the three things that I just told you about, I'm still working on that every single day. I do not hit the mark every single day. I do not, I would be lying, which most people do when they get on here. I would be lying if I say, oh, every single day I'm hitting the goal. I fall short. And through the grace of God, I get another opportunity every single day to keep on going. However, the thing that makes me the most happiest is knowing that I'm still shifting from worrying about everybody else and putting a little bit more focus every single day on the things that I want to do. I know business is business. However, business can be personal also. Professional can be personal, right? That's why they call it personal and professional development. You have to tap in and see how you feel when you take the time and you start to focus on what's important to you, right? Now, you're going to have a high level for all my people pleasers out there because I'm a recovering people pleaser also. I want to make sure that everybody's fine. You're going to have to battle with the guilt that you are going to have, knowing that you're going to start to put more focus on what's important to you in your life as opposed to everyone else. You can't avoid it, right? However, as you sit in that guilt and you start to and still work through that guilt, you'll be all right. Trust me, there is a balance. It is okay for you to say no to someone and really not to continue to give them a further explanation. It's okay, right? If they don't understand, then they don't understand. Or the reason why they may not understand because you're starting to say no to that person that you've always said yes to. I deal with that with my daughter right now, where there's a balance where I know for the fact that I want to treat her like the princess that she is. However, the princess needs to start earning the things that she wants in life, right? So I'm going to say no. Or I'm going to say, what did you do to earn it? Even in my heart, I know that I want to give it to her. And I hope she starts to, shift and start to say, how can I earn something as opposed to just, you know, asking for stuff and thinking that you're going to get it. That's one of my challenges. But once again, how am I adding value to my life, stressing myself out, trying to get something for my daughter that she has not earned? It makes no sense, right? So let me see. I know I've been talking for a minute. I tried to keep it for 30. What's the countdown on this? Oh, it's 32 minutes. So I went a little bit over, right? But and I'm for anybody that is still here, I'm glad that you are here. But um, you can, if you are looking at this video right now, or if you're looking at the what's the word? The replay, like live, your brain can kind of turn into mush. But if you're looking at this and you want to figure out better ways to focus, um, definitely start out with knowing what's important to you in your life, what makes you happy, and then start to gradually integrate that into your life. And you don't necessarily have to do it at the beginning of the year. It's new year, new you. No, you can start to make the decision to say, I want to start focusing more on what's important to me in my life. And you can start to take the necessary actions. You can even go from a perspective of trying mode to actually doing mode, right? Because trying it is going to be scary. It's going to be scary because once again, you're going to have a high level of guilt knowing that who am I to want to pour into myself, especially if you're so busy taking care of everybody else. And there's no shame in that because you are trying to do a 180 at 180 miles per hour. It's going to be disastrous. You got to slow down and gradually slow down so you can get to the point where it's safe to turn back around. But do it for yourself because as you do it for yourself, it will trickle down and the people that you love will benefit, right? It will happen, right? It's happening in my life. But once again, I'm aware that I'll never neglect my child, never neglect my wife. But at the same time, I don't want to neglect myself, right? So thank you guys for your time on this July 3rd. Hopefully, you guys will have a safe and happy 4th of July. But if you know someone that needs to focus, right? This was a unorthodox way of some of the things that you can do to focus. Yeah, some people say if you want to focus more, you want to work out, you want to do all of that. And I don't knock that. But at the same time, sometimes even in the professional world, you're so used to doing everything for everyone else. And that may even be your job, because even at my job and even my business, it is in a support type perspective. My services are used to help support professionals in their career and support businesses. So it's more of a give, 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 give. But if I'm not pouring into myself, there's no way that I can continue to serve my clients, my family, and other people at the I won't even say at the highest level. I haven't even hit my highest level yet because I'm still trying to excel. I don't want to plateau. God forbid that I plateau, but even if I do, I'm gonna have to take a step back and say, okay, am I losing focus on what's important to me? And if I say that if I can do that, I know anyone on this live stream can. Know what's important to you. If you need to, even if it's for a short period of time, even if it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes a day, isolate yourself. Remove yourself from all distractions so you can, even if I don't have my journal, right? But even if you start to sit in a room quiet and you can pray, you can meditate, you can do whatever, but just sit in a room quiet and just listen to your thoughts. Listen to your thoughts. Listen to what you are thinking. That's something that everyone who really wants to start to regain their focus can do. Because once you really start to listen in silence what you are thinking, you'll be very surprised. It scared me. It scared me. It scared me from a perspective where I was thinking that, to be very transparent, I don't think like this now, where everyone, how can I put it? I was thinking that I wasn't good enough to even focus on the stuff that is important to me because I was just so wired to help everybody out. I don't know if I just hit a nerve with someone, but it hit a nerve for me where if I just sat there and really thought about, am I even good enough to even help myself? And in some instances at the very beginning, I was like, no, because I thought my value was in pouring into everyone else and ignoring myself. I wasn't even going to say that on this live stream, but at the same time, I needed to be very transparent, right? To the point where mentally I really had to build myself back up and say, hey, of course, the Lord Jesus Christ is first, but I'm like, hey, I'm a close second. So I need to make sure that I'm good, I'm poured into before even helping anybody else out, right? So if you wanted a part two to this live stream, because I can go super deeper into other experiences based off of that, feel free to put it in the comments or shoot me either a message here on LinkedIn or on YouTube, or leave a comment below. But this is, you will not be able to accomplish what you are destined to accomplish without the focus that you need, right? So, uh, as always, this is Eric B. Horn. Thank you guys for your time, your effort, and energy. Once again, the easiest thing that you can do is isolate yourself in a room for 20 minutes and listen to your thoughts. That will be one of the best first steps that you can do, because you're taking time out for yourself to listen to yourself, right? But I'm gonna get off here, figure out what I'm gonna eat. Talk to you guys later. Thank you for taking the time out.